With a potential Classic Plus announcement right around the corner, what better time than now to take a look at what once upon a time could have been and what might yet still come to pass. Today, we examine Kalidar, an unfinished battleground lost to time. Kalidar uses a tile set that is similar to Teldrassil and Ashenvale. Its main points of interest are two keeps, one Horde keep and one Alliance keep, located at opposite sides of the map. They are connected by three pathways. I suppose you could call these pathways lanes. The map itself resembles what we are used to nowadays from games like Dota 2 or League of Legends. There is even something akin to what could be the secret shop in Dota 2, namely the Goblin Laboratory in the southish center part of the map. One can only speculate what it might have been used for. There were Goblin Laboratories in Warcraft 3 which allowed for the hiring of a Goblin Shredder, a nice unit for collecting copious amounts of wood with some combat capabilities, Goblin Sappers which are basically only good for blowing themselves up, and Goblin Zeppelins, a unit used to either traverse impassable terrain or, if your micro is good enough, save units by having them hop on and off the Zeppelin. So it is possible the Goblin Lab would have functioned as some kind of forward base that would allow you to hire additional units or improve your odds of winning some other way. The middle itself is occupied by a scout tower, a location that likely would have been fought over. There are 3 mines scattered all over the map and a couple of troll huts. It's hard to say exactly what these buildings' purpose would have been, but from battlegrounds like Alterac, we can at least speculate that some of these would have been populated by NPCs. The keeps, one using an orcish model that is heavily inspired by the orc stronghold model from Warcraft 3, and the other one, the human barracks model, which is also heavily inspired by its Warcraft 3 counterpart, are fairly bare bones. Especially the orc interior lacks detail, whereas the Alliance one is complete with a functional and decorated interior as found in many other locations around Azeroth. Another reminder that a lot more love went into the Alliance side of things in the early stages of development, something that was also noticeable upon Vanilla WoW release, with Horde having notably fewer quests, especially past level 50. This was rectified in a later patch. More than likely, the Battleground would have had some sort of PvPvE element to it, meaning there would have been player versus player as well as player versus NPC interactions. Regarding the name, Kalidar is what Teldrassil was known as on Blizzard's preview website for World of Warcraft, as well as on several concept maps in the World of Warcraft DVD. Interestingly enough, most of the objects seen on Teldrassil, such as the trees, unique bridge models, etc., are still labeled as Kalidar in the game files to this day. I have included a snippet from the Wowpedia article on Teldrassil that includes some additional information on Kalidar, so you can pause the video and read through it if you're interested. It does make one wonder, was Teldrassil supposed to be a contested zone? Were the Night Elves supposed to fight off a Horde invasion on their home territory? Or is the name purely a placeholder used as a means to signify that the battleground relates to the struggle between Night Elves and the Horde? As I said, we can only speculate how the gameplay would have looked like. The first version of Defense of the Ancients, or Dota, which at the time was a custom map for Warcraft 3, was released in 2003. Whether Kalidar's layout and ideas were present in the game before that point is hard to say. It might well be inspired by Defense of the Ancients. The concept of a middle lane and 2 sideways to reach the opposite faction's base could also just be a coincidence though. If any of you have any additional information, please let me know in the comments. I tried my best to look around the internet for additional info, but most sources are fairly bare bones and pretty much just parrot the same information. There is, by the way, another scrap battleground, the Ashara Crater, which we might take a look at in the future if it's possible for me to access that. For now though, I do hope that you enjoyed this brief look at yet another part of the WoW Alpha that actually never saw the light of day, and maybe we'll see a version of this in Classic Plus if it does come, which, to be fairly honest, I'm still a little bit skeptical of, but yeah, let's just hope for the best, and I hope to see you guys again shortly.